couldn't leave the prattling of a madman alone, could you? This is my sanctum, trespasser. You couldn't possibly understand the work I'm doing here. I fear I will need to kill you now. Perhaps the process will provide some insights into your unique power. Don't you see? The physiology of the mortal races is a book we've barely begun to crack. You couldn't possibly understand. I take these young men and women and I open them and I see what truly lives within. Magic is changing and so are those who wield it. I am merely bold enough to look and learn the how and why. You do not wish to challenge me? You would let my experiments continue? Well, that arrangement could be beneficial to both parties. I could give you a gift made from what I've learned. In exchange, I want you to silence the nuisance who led you here as a statement of commitment to our new partnership. Excellent. When you do, return here to me and I will reward you. Farewell.
I had the strangest dream, Scarecrow. You were there beneath the tower, crouching in the dark. You lifted your hand, and a crow flew from it straight like an arrow to my eye. What do you think it means? Once I thought they were monsters, always rising. I didn't know then. I didn't understand. A fool twice cursed. Once to fall in battle, nearly killed. Cursed again to keep on living in this... A whole city of crows, fat from feast. I knew she turned you. I dreamed it. Don't leave me!
Shedding the blood of the mad is such an exhilarating experience, is it not? I am surprised you carried out the deed, but pleased. Perhaps one day we can experience something like it together. In the interim, take this. I crafted it using the magic of the departed spirits. Now leave me be. I have research to conduct. It was difficult to conduct my research in Rathier. I felt it would be easier to conduct my work here. With so much death on the battlefield, it is... to be able to study their physiology. Impossible, of course. A beautiful city, is it not? When the siege... The opportunity to observe the effects of violence first...
greater Nistaru ride I often do.
You are Bizerain's cat's paw, then? I knew he had let a mortal into the house's ranks. But this is who he sends to do his dirty work. Fie on him. You may return me to the cycle, but if you ever see your master, tell him this. He will never get his hands on the Sorrows. All of us, will stop him.
You have finally returned. Much has happened since you were away. The house has been sundered. Not by Tuatha, but by ourselves. The house has rebelled. The other members of the house have marched against the Tuatha. I'm afraid they may have attacked Bizarane. I do not think he is dead, but we must see to him. Saturnin is watching us, I can sense it. If Bizarane is left undefended, it will be difficult for you to understand, but many did not consider Bizarane the true king of our house. While many wanted to war with the Tuatha, Bizarane stayed our hands. And while our house collapsed around us, Bizarane did nothing. I will not lie. Though I see the value of your presence, many felt that bringing a mortal into our ranks crossed the line. With you, Bizarane made his final error. Yes, unfortunately the doors to the house are barred from the inside. I am capable of shadow stepping through, but I'm afraid that you, as a mortal, must take a longer route. Go through the proving halls, but be warned, Bolgun roam those corridors now. Saturnin's already started moving to crush us. Farewell.
have arrived as Tybri said you would. It is good that you were able to get through the proving halls unscathed. But there are greater events at work here. The house may have breathed its last. He has wreaked havoc within the house, and loosed horrors that none of us dare witness a second time. He is our foe, and he must be stopped. Members of the house may choose one of two paths. The path of the Delver. Delvers are those who commune with the sorrows of the living Fae and the recently deceased. They draw forth. However, most Delvers lost their talent over these last few centuries. But our youngest, my summer brethren, embody the growth and progression of nature. But the Winter Fae bear the burden of regression and decay in their essence. Left alone, they would The house's founder, the Weeping King, took on their sorrows and freed them. We carry... The Midden is the cradle in which our race of winter was fostered. It is a place of rot. The rebels have begun a march of folly to make war on the Tuatha. As they said, I sought to stay them. They ignored me. I sought to warn them. They paid no heed. For them, the war started when I became the King of Sorrows. And now, my reign ends. Saturnin wants this, mortal. Without leadership, the rebels will be easily picked off. And so it falls to you and Tybri to save them. Years ago, the House of Sorrows and the Tuatha made a pact of necessity. The house would remain free of the Tuatha, but could not interfere with their war. In addition, the Tuatha demanded we appoint a more amiable king, one who would uphold the pact. And so I was named. I became the face of our submission, and when Saturnin led the Tuatha to fight us, the house had no reason left to heed me. No. I will not have every last member of my house blundering to their death like a fool. Unlike Fae, mortals cannot be reborn. You will get your wish, in part. Saturnin will have to reveal himself in some form to attack the rebels. Confronting him is your top, your only priority. I have instructed Tybri to assist you as best she can, but she is not as suited to this work as you, mortal. Look after her. They are in the Fallen Hall. Save who you can, but more importantly, we must learn what we can of Saturnin.
There is no time. We must go to the Fallen Hall, mortal. It lies south of here, in the peaks of the Keening. It is an old Arathi ruin, and is easily defensive. Farewell.
impressive, is it not? The greater Niscaro, Baelor, made quite an entrance. Goodbye, mortal.
It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Saturnin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a hole fast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Saturnin as well. Farewell. Look, that must be the leader, Saturnin. That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defenses. There are 3 stairs strewn throughout the hall. Activate Farewell.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. Saturnin, you use that name so freely, but your little guess is wrong. I am not Saturnin. I am but a blade that Saturnin has employed in his war. And now, that blade turns on you.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause. For all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizerain with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell.
Saturnin, this latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. Fae are the embodiment of magic. When a Delver takes the burden of winter from a Fae, those burdens are in the form of magic. Over centuries, these magics have been collected, contained in a secret location. The sorrows that Saturnin seeks. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale. Kael'rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter. The sorrows are an accumulation of the destructive magic that the house has siphoned from the Winter Fae over centuries of existence. The Delvers of the house did this to enable the Winter Fae to create the Court of Winter. But knowledge of the art and the sorrows' location are lost. Still, the sorrows represent a monstrous collection of magical energy. We must deny Saturnin access to it.
Yes? Greetings, Siegebreaker. Although there is much that must be done, farewell.
piling upon us now.
I've got plenty of supplies if you've got plenty of coin. Come back again.
You may think I'm lying, but unfortunately I'm telling the truth as I saw it then anyway. This thing was a fleeting companion, but a companion nonetheless. Do you hear? It's the earthly moans of time. Listless motes of cavern dust, the crumbled ruin beneath our feet. All the ordained path of the blessed. You have found their way, their home, their solace. You're near them. No, I was wrong.
curious. You are mortal, but your steps resound with a burden greater than any one mortal might ever hope to bear. More curious still is your presence here. The great scale is not idly moved, nor is my reverie broken without cause. What is your purpose? And so I am finally exhumed. But Bizarane is not the King of Sorrows from whom I hoped to draw summons. Indeed, I know the location of the Sorrows. They were never meant to be retrieved, but neither were they meant to be exploited. Before I go, I must request that you rouse my counterpart, Kael'rod. The ages have sent our paths together. I will not break it now. A penance of sorts. Long ago, Kael'rod and I served the Weeping King. Of Tenders and Delvers, we were the first. But the Weeping King soon left this world for Ashara. And when he did, the house stopped serving death and began serving the court of winter. That was not what we followed the Weeping King for. So we came here to contemplate death. It is what the Weeping King would have intended. When we first came to this place, we vowed we would not see each other until our contemplations were complete. I thought that day would never come. As I was on one side of the scale, you will find him on the other. I will leave this cell and wait for you to find him. He is on the other side of the Great Scale. You will need to rebalance the scale to reach him. Goodbye.
Sorrow precedes you, mortal. It is almost enough to shift the great scale on its own. It has been centuries since my reverie was last disturbed. For what cause are you here? What could a mortal possibly want with me? I have heard of your work in reaching Amalur. If she wishes to aid this King of Sorrows, then I will echo her approval. But learning the location of the Sorrows is not merely answering a question asked. More than knowledge will be needed to reach the Sorrows. We will meet her in time. You must be patient, mortal. Among our kind he was, and he remains singular. None could do now what he did, to naturally find the Sorrows in others and delve into their being. And though he formed the House of Sorrows, though he saw the birth of the Court of Winter, he did not remain. By choice or fate, he went to Ashara, never to return. I think this war has exhausted all other Winter Fae who knew the Weeping King as he walked. But though Amalur and I remain, I can scarce recall him. Very well.
Kelrod!
Alarine!
It seems our reverie has been broken at last.
True, but you have felt the magics, as have I. Something dreadful grows to... And so the eldest look upon each other once more. It has been some time since I have seen Alarine mortal. For that I am thankful. But Bizarane will need more than knowledge to reach Sorrows. He will need a key which lies in Sincere, the hollow of the Weeping King. That is correct. It is a difficult thing to ask of a mortal. A Fae would be better suited to navigate the hollow. But time is fleeting. But you will not perform this task alone. One of us will aid in recovering the key from Sincere, and the other will instruct Bizarane on how to reach the Sorrows. It falls to you to choose. Let it be so. She will accompany you to Sincere, and I will return to the House of Sorrows to instruct Bizarane on how to claim the Sorrows. I wish you luck in your task, mortal. Keep well after Alarine.
Very well.
Then we leave Kelrod to the instruction of this King of Sorrows. It is perhaps the best choice. It is suited to him after all. I will shadow step to Sincere and wait for you there. We must move quickly. Goodbye.
Delirious. Looking to restock. Ilan Doldran has what you need. Come back again.
Whatever you're planning, now is the time. The House of Pride may be insufferable, but their magical powers are well known. You got into Alabastra once.
At last, you come, and we can recover the key. I knew the Tuatha had taken hold of Cluricon, but I never thought it would be like this. When I last walked here, it was a solemn place, but beautiful. Kind Fae tended to the corners and halls. Now it lies silent, corrupted, and sullied. But we cannot dwell on what has transpired. To reach the key to the sorrows, we must first seek 3 votives in addition to this one. They will grant us passage. We must go deeper still into Sincere. The way is not open, however, to one that does not bear the proper votives. The votives were originally borne by Fae that tended this hollow, but I think they are held by something more sinister now. Goodbye. So you have gathered all the votives. Then we may continue onward to the next trial we must face, the Crying Eyes. When we reach them, then I will tell you more on the subject. They are deeper in the dungeon. Press forward and we shall reach them. Goodbye. The way is clear. Come, let us press onward. There is still another challenge to overcome. Before we can reach the key, we must bypass the Crying Eyes. Then the key to the sorrows will be ours again. Goodbye. So you have gathered all the votives. Then we may... When we reach them, then goodbye. Here, we have reached the Crying Eyes. When this hollow was first shaped, those statues did not weep. But now they weep for all eternity. They alone guard the way to the key. You must approach them, mortal. They will show you the way forward, if only you answer them. Approach the Crying Eyes and observe. They show you the knowledge you need to advance. Answer what they ask, and we shall be free to continue. Goodbye. You have come. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must recover the key to the sorrows. Approach the crying eyes and observe. They show you the knowledge you need to advance. Answer what goodbye. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must recover the goodbye. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must recover the goodbye. Time is fleeting, mortal. We must goodbye. That is the key to the sorrows, mortal. It is perhaps not the sort you are used to, but that is certainly it. It is a branch of the ancient and wizened tree whose roots touch this world and Ashara, the plane of magic to which all Fae belong. It is a branch of the gallows tree. The sorrows take the form of the gallows tree in both realms, and this branch creates the bridge between them. Come, let us ferry it to Bizarane. Goodbye.
You have the key to the sorrows. That was well done. Indeed, everything you have done is more than I could have possibly hoped for. My reliance on you to this point was never my initial plan. I only needed Kadarok dead at the hands of someone else. But when I learned how willing you were to hound the Tuatha, I saw you would rise to every occasion. You became my faithful instrument. And you continually demonstrate your most valuable quality, your inability to understand the Fae. Do you think that I was without potential servants within this house? That I was forced to wait until you came? No. I had many options at my disposal. But a mortal would know nothing of a Fae's behavior, his values, his reasoning. A mortal might never learn that Saturnin and I are one and the same. You mean, why not announce my intent in a more obvious and boorish, or shall we say, mortal manner? I had to have the sorrows, but they were lost. It took years before I even learned of the eldest. much less their location. To reach the eldest, I needed this house to die. To do that, I needed a rebellion. To do that, I needed an assassination. To do that, I needed you. True, I do not share the face of my brethren. As I explained to Gadflow, it was a necessary part of the plan. I have not worn this mask without sacrifice. Too long have I gone without feeling the warmth of Prismeer or the love of my god. But soon this will end, and I can take my rightful place again. Your ignorance of Fey culture, meaning your intonation, made you ideal. You lacked the context others might have used to expose me. But there is more. You are the hero of Mel Senshir. You may not admit it, but you are a symbol to mortals, a rallying point for their armies. Who better to be the blade that I used to kill the Alfar? Who better to destroy the House of Sorrows? It makes my triumph complete. Perfect. You threaten me with death as though it is some great finality. We might both testify to the contrary. I will excuse your inevitable resistance, but if you have any sense, then you already know that you cannot reach me nor follow me. We part ways here. Find comfort, at least, that you will be long dead before the sorrows flood the minds of your mortal armies. Mercer will cut you down here. Farewell.
No, they're gonna kill the eldest. You survived. For better or worse, I know not. The house is in ruins, the eldest lie butchered, and Bizarane has betrayed us to the Tuatha. He must be denied. For our honored sorrow, our broken pride, our due vengeance. He cannot be allowed to use the house for war. He is at the birthplace of summer and winter, where the Weeping King first pooled the anguish and decay inherent in all Winter Fae. Ashara. It is the plane from which all Fae descend when they are reborn, and to which they return when they die. It is a place of pure magic. I fear you may have had enough of secrets, but here is mine. I am the Weeping King reborn. Bizarane needed a key to reach the Sorrows. I do not. I did not always know. When you went to Amalur, I meditated beneath the gallows tree, and a part of me that had long slumbered awakened. It makes sense now. Why I could practice delving when all had lost the art. Why I can commune with sorrows. Be it fate or chance, we must take advantage of this. I think that as the Weeping King, I can bring us to the Sorrows in time to stop Bizarane. It is both near and far. In the Midden, the barrier between this realm and Ashara is weak, and we can explore. I do not know what will happen if I attempt to bring you into Ashara, but you have a strong will. That alone may save you. Bizarane has a head start on us. However short, it is likely still enough. Be on your guard. We must hurry. have a strong force of will, stronger than I felt possible. I have never heard tell of a mortal that could stand in Ashara. But we are here. I can recall now, vaguely. I walked this place before, and shaped the ground. That tree in the center, it is the embodiment of the sorrows. Bizarrain will be there, but he has prepared himself. This barrier keeps us from him, and there are other magics at work. It is a place the Weeping that I crafted to house the sorrows. Beyond its borders is Ashara, the plane of magic. When Fae are born, their life force comes from Ashara, and to Ashara their life force returns upon death. This is a powerful place. The tree in the center of the space, the inversion of the gallows tree that you've seen in the midden, that is the form of the sorrows. The midden is the cradle of winter. It is connected to this realm where the winter fae descend from. The gallows tree serves to bridge the midden and Ashara. Yes, we can. I can sense the conduits the magic follows, and there are weak points, nexuses of energy that we can exploit. But Bizarrain is no fool. He will not leave them unguarded. And I feel strange presences. There is something waiting, mortal. Something dreadful. Bizarrain is correct in that he can the barrier is strong, but it feeds off. We must hurry.
We meet again, mortal. Can I truly be here? Standing before the sorrows? I remember no swords, fire, and then nothing. But he brought me back to fight you. I can't. I'm sorry, mortal. So sorry.
There is no time to speak. We must stop Bizarrain before he can unleash the sorrows. We must hurry. must be quick.
You dare tread here. A mortal dare shows himself in the sacred lands of the House of Sorrows. I have been dead a short time, and already I learned so much since he raised me. You are the cause of all this. Bizerain relied on you for his plans. Because of you, the house is dead.
Finally, you have come. I must admit, I did not give you credit when last we faced each other. And now, I am here. My master has raised me to protect his labours, and I will oblige him. You may have bested me previously, but you will not do so again. Perhaps if I take your head here, my master will have faith in me once again. Shall we find out?
We must be quick.
And so you have finally reached me. I have waited, mortal. The longest of any I have waited. And now, Bizerain has raised me against my will to be part of his design. I sought to stop him. I found the plan he had conspired, and I fled the house, for I knew not what to do. But I could have stopped this scheme. And then you came and killed me. And now I am a puppet to his will. He cannot be stopped, mortal. Bizerain cannot be stopped.
There is no time to speak. We must stop Bizerain. We must hurry.
You have slain what vestiges of your past I could conjure, and the barrier has fallen. So now, we are here. You think your presence here can stay my spells? The last words have been uttered. You are too late to stop me. I cannot. You do not understand Fae, mortal. What I do is for the good of all the Winter Kingdom. There are fires coming to this world. I have only glimpsed a fleeting shadow of them, and I am awed and scared and humbled. Only the Tuatha will be able to bear these tribulations, so they must survive this war. Now, you understand why I must fight. I have to fight.
Bizarin may be dead, but the death blow is still his. The Sorrows have already begun escaping their seal. We need to act quickly, or this will all be for nothing. I must seal the Sorrows within myself. I do not know for sure. I will be forced to remain in Ashara lest the Sorrows break free once more. Whether I will live or die is unclear. But I cannot be afraid. It must be done. For the good of mortals. For the good of Fae. It is a noble sentiment, mortal, but you do not understand. They must be anchored in Ashara, and you cannot remain here. Only I can. But please, bear witness to this last act. Tell the world what happened here, how the House of Sorrows ended. We must hurry.
Greetings. Oh, how can I ever begin to thank you? What an ordeal that was. Quite the ordeal indeed. Please, let me introduce myself. I am Bern Elgar, head steward of House Ancilla. Of course, since the house no longer exists, that means I now serve you. Do not misunderstand. I adore the Lord and Lady, but my first responsibility is to the fortress itself, to Sea-Watch. But of course it is. Do you see anyone else of substance, another soul deserving of such a prize? Surely not. Sea-Watch was the first of the Ancilla castles, and the finest. But without its staff, it is a lonely place, its halls empty of the voices that once filled it. As your newest and only advisor, I suggest that we begin renovations. It'll be costly, mind you, but well worth the investment. Wonderful, my liege, wonderful. You will not regret it. The corridors of Sea-Watch will once again ring with merriment. That is, if there were people here to make merriment. If I might make another suggestion, it would be nice if you were able to convince the former staff to return. I would start with Connie, a rather quirky and elemental Fey alchemist, who found a place in our master's heart as his gardener. Connie was unique, even among her own kind. The last we saw of the poor creature, she was being pursued by Bolgan, and I fear she was taken prisoner. Oh, Connie. She spent much of her time wandering the gardens of old Castle Ancilla, where the family lived. Of course, word has it that she was locked away by the Bolgan, poor thing. Goodbye. You have a long way to go. Farewell. Yes?
I've got plenty of supplies if you... You've got plenty of coin. Come back again.